If someone asked me to show them what living in Northeast Florida feels like, this is one of the roads I would take them down. There are some roads you ride because they're the fastest way to get somewhere. And then there are roads you ride simply because you just enjoy the journey. For me, Palm Valley Road is just one of those roads. Today, I'm taking a ride through Ponte Vedra Beach area and Palm Valley, eventually making my way over to Jacksonville Beach for a cup of coffee at one of my favorite local spots. But this ride today isn't really just about the coffee. It's about slowing down for a few minutes, enjoying the road, and taking in a little bit of what makes Northeast Florida such a great place to call home. My name is Matt, and I'm the First Coast Real Estate Rider. Come along for the ride. One of the things I love most about riding a motorcycle is how much more connected you feel to the places you're traveling through. In a car, it's easy to put the windows up, turn on the air conditioner, and just focus on getting from point A to point B. On a motorcycle, it's different. You notice the temperature change when you get closer to the water. You smell the salt air. You feel the breeze. And you start noticing things you might normally drive right past. Palm Valley Road is a perfect example. This isn't a road that's going to show up on a list of America's greatest motorcycle roads. There aren't any mountains here. There aren't a lot of sweeping curves or dramatic elevation changes. This is Northeast Florida. Our scenery here is much different. Here, it's about the water, the marshes, the intercoastal waterway, live oak trees, bridges, and those little glimpses of old Florida that you can still find if you know where to look. One of the things that's always fascinated me about Northeast Florida is how quickly the scenery can change. You can be surrounded by neighborhoods and new development, and just a few minutes later, you're riding along the water on a quiet two-lane road. That's one of the things I think people sometimes overlook when they think about living in this part of Florida. There's definitely been a tremendous amount of growth here, especially over the last 5 or 6 years. Places like St. Johns County have become incredibly popular with people moving into Florida, and even people relocating from other parts of the state. And with that growth comes change. More homes, more businesses, more restaurants, and yes, more traffic. But rides like this remind me that there's still another side to Northeast Florida. You just have to get off the main road sometimes to find it. Because I work in real estate, I spend a lot of time talking with people about where they want to live. And one thing I've learned over the years is that people don't really buy houses. They buy lifestyles. Of course the house matters, price matters, the number of bedrooms matter, the kitchen matters. But I really think the bigger question is, what do you want your life to look like when you walk out your front door? Do you want to be close to the beach? Do you want access to the intercoastal waterway? Do you enjoy boating? Maybe golf, fishing, going to restaurants, maybe just coffee shops? Maybe you just want somewhere you can jump on a motorcycle on a Saturday morning and be on a road like this in a matter of minutes. Those things matter. And they're a big part of what makes Northeast Florida so interesting. We have Jacksonville, which is a major city, but we also have places like Ponte Vedra Beach, Jacksonville Beach, Atlantic Beach, Neptune Beach, St. Augustine, and all the smaller communities in between. Each one has its own personality. And sometimes the best way to understand those places isn't by looking at a map. It's by getting out and exploring them. That's really one of the reasons I started this channel. Obviously, I love motorcycles and I love riding. But First Coast Real Estate Rider was never meant to be just another motorcycle channel. And it's definitely not meant to be just another real estate channel. I wanted to combine a few things that are a big part of my life. Motorcycles, real estate, meeting people, and exploring Northeast Florida. I spend a lot of my week driving around for work. But when I'm on the motorcycle, I experience it differently. I'm not rushing to an appointment. I'm not checking the clock. I'm just riding And I've realized that some of my favorite places are the ones I've discovered simply because I decided to take a different road. A local restaurant, a coffee shop, a waterfront spot, a small town, or sometimes just a great stretch of road. That's what I want to share on this channel, the places that make the First Coast feel like home. As we make our way toward Jacksonville Beach, the atmosphere starts to change again. That's another thing I love about this ride. You're leaving the quieter roads around Palm Valley and Ponte Vedra and gradually making your way toward the beach. Jacksonville Beach has its own energy. You've got the ocean, restaurants, bars, local businesses, people riding bikes, people walking to the beach, and of course, plenty of places to grab a good cup of coffee. Which brings me to today's destination. This is the Corner Street Cafe in Jacksonville Beach. It's one of my favorite places to stop when I'm over this way. And that's really what I enjoy about finding local places like this. Sometimes you don't need a big destination. You don't need to ride hundreds of miles. You don't need a complicated plan. Sometimes a great morning is as simple as getting on the bike, finding a road you enjoy, and having a good cup of coffee waiting for you at the other end. For me, that's a pretty good way to start part of the day. And it's also a reminder that lifestyle isn't always about the big things. Sometimes it's about having places like this close to home, a favorite coffee shop, a favorite restaurant, a road you love to ride. A place where people know your name. Like cheers. Those little things become part of your routine, and eventually they become part of what makes a place feel like home. Well, that's going to do it for today's ride. Palm Valley to Jacksonville Beach, a beautiful stretch of Northeast Florida, a great ride, and a pretty good excuse to grab a cup of coffee. If you're new to the channel, my name's Matt, and I am the First Coast Real Estate Rider. My goal here is pretty simple. I want to explore Northeast Florida one ride at a time. We'll visit local communities, ride some great roads, discover restaurants and coffee shops, meet interesting people, and talk a little real estate along the way. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, I'd love to have you along for the ride. And here's where I could use your help. If you know a great local coffee shop, restaurant, hidden road, or destination anywhere in Northeast Florida that you think I should visit, drop it in the comments. You might just pick the destination for one of my next rides. Thanks for riding along with me. Ride safe, Enjoy the journey, and I'll see you the next time.